to advance our species and govern the future.
I didn't expect to be back in the world of Dune so early. Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2 were one of my earliest videos I made on this channel. If you guys were here since then, you guys are the OG. So there's this new TV show called Dune Prophecy.
The Imperium is fragile. The great houses fight for control.
I didn't really have any expectations. The first episode just came out, so this video is just going to be my first impression / review of the first episode. There's going to be 6 in total for this season. It's not really like the movies. We don't have Timothée Chalamet. It's another prequel. Back in the day, I'm trying to refresh myself on Dune because I haven't read the books. It's been almost a year since I've watched the movies and I haven't read the books yet. So I don't know all of the details. The thing about this show is the first episode, it already kind of gives you a summary. There's exposition telling you what is going on. So this show takes place shortly after. Shortly meaning 100 years after the war the humans had against the thinking machines, which is just AI. 10,000 years before Timothée Chalamet's Paul Atreides, so before the movies. And so this prequel is a really early prequel. I'm just I can't even imagine 10,000 years. When I heard that about the show, I was like, oh, it's gonna be very different from the movies. But when I started watching it, it felt kind of similar. The whole world kind of feels the same. It doesn't feel like it's 10,000 years before the Dune movies. The technology, the societal system, everything kind of just feels the same. It's nothing changed. Nothing really changed in that 10,000 years. It's too long of a time to fathom, but I just feel like things should have changed more. And it just looks the same right now. I don't know. Y'all wear the same clothes? I guess it's cultural clothing. We don't have a culture in human civilization that has lasted for 10,000 years, so I guess none of us would know. It's kind of strange. And they're even still using the same weapons to practice, that thing where you get a shield. Everything just feels like they didn't really develop. But I guess the explanation for that is because of the thinking machines. They're so scared of AI, they really didn't develop technologically, and they kind of focus more on biological evolution. And this is where the Bene Gesserit come in, because this is the start of their whole breeding program, in which they are trying to control the development of the universe. Humans at this point have already spread throughout the galaxy. So all these houses, all these civilizations are in different planets, and they do have a method of traveling very quickly in space. The spice from Arrakis is very important for the space navigators to use in order for them to travel through space. And so that's the whole thing about Arrakis is so important, and whoever controls Arrakis controls the universe. This is already kind of set up. This is already established. I don't know the history of Dune, so I didn't know, but I thought things would be quite different 10,000 years ago, but I guess now that I'm watching the show, I'm it's not that different. Forgot to explain what the Bene Gesserit are, but they're this group of space nuns. They're this religious cultish group in space across the galaxy. I don't know, it's a weird concept. In the first episode, we established that they're truth tellers or whatever. They basically practice a lot of techniques through years of training and whatever. They have very good control of their own bodies. They can control other people with the voice. They're all women. They don't do anything in the front line because the galaxy, the leaders, it's still controlled by men. So these women are secretly the ones in control. And this is why this whole prequel is just about them and how they've established all of this and their goal of trying to bring about this being that is almighty and powerful through this breeding program in which they kind of manipulate the relationships between royal families and bloodlines to eventually genetically engineer their prophet that's going to come, and I don't even know what he's gonna do. What is he gonna do? I mean, obviously it blows up in the end, but there was this goal of creating this all-powerful Kwisatz Haderach who could see into the past and the future through genetic memory. But yeah, the world of Dune is just super vast, super expansive, and I cannot explain even a portion of it. We kind of see them in the movies, but they're not the main focus. And the show is going to mainly focus on them. We start off following this Bene Gesserit. What is her name? Valia Harkonnen?
Valia Harkonnen.
And I guess her sister is kind of in on it too. But she's successor of, I don't know if the lady who passed in the beginning was the first Reverend Mother, but She seemed like the one who came up with the rating program. There was another successor girl. She was kind of against the old Reverend Mother's ideals, and she's like, I don't think it's right for us to seek so much power. And I think that's going to be a theme in this show, in which previously the humans were controlled by the AI, the thinking machines, and after they defeated them, they thought they were kind of free, but now they're controlled by the Bene Gesserit. So it's almost like another repeated cycle, and she didn't want that. But Valia's like, no, I feel like this is our destiny. I don't know if I want to spoil this, but she gets blood on her hands and then she takes over. And then there's a time skip. She's the one in power right now, and she's still trying to carry out this whole plan. The other characters in this right now, we see the Emperor. I didn't even know he was the Emperor. I thought he was just like the leader of House Carino, but he is the Emperor. Like, House Carino is the Emperor's house. He has a daughter and a half son. The daughter, she's actually going to be the one inheriting throne. They had to marry her to like this 9-year-old boy, but then they just got rid of him in the first episode. So I'm just like, what happened there? I'm curious about the whole thinking machine thing, because it seemed like the little boy, he had a toy lizard, robotic toy lizard that was AI powered, I guess. I'm like, where did that come from? I thought y'all got rid of AI. I think the Bene Gesserit, at this point, it seems they're trying to get a woman on the throne. Like, they want a female empress to rule the galaxy, and that has never happened before. I don't know why that's their goal, but I guess we'll find out. Maybe it was explained and I just missed it, but I'm just like, okay, something is obviously gonna go awry. Yeah, we're gonna see what happens. But I did like that they had exposition to explain what's going on, because sometimes shows begin just right in the middle, right smack dab in the middle, and I'm confused. This show began in a very linear kind of way. We get a setup. We get a lot of dialogue, actually. There's a lot of also weird visions and stuff, and those parts really confuse me. I think there's a lot of symbolism there that I just miss a lot of the time, so it's probably not the show's problem, it's my problem. It's hard to say from one episode whether it's going to be great or not. I think at this point it can go either way. It's kind of just starting out. I'll be back after I've seen all the episodes so I can give my final thoughts on the entire season.